Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this video where we're going to be discussing a potential farming DLC for Stormworks, how it can be done, and what it can add to the game. So let's get going. Now first, as a disclaimer, I do want to say this is only a suggestion. However, it is my sort of intention to show the details of how something like this can be done and brought into the game. Whether this is the best idea or whether this is something that Stormworks developers actually want to do is to be decided. So just a disclaimer, I'm not saying the game is perfect. There's still obviously glitches and things that the developers are working on, but they made a fantastic game, and this is only one out of many suggestions or ideas that I have. So please don't comment saying, oh, fix this, do this sucks, whatever. It's just an idea, okay? So the way I see it playing out is you would buy a farm and there'd be several of them in the map, and that's what I have here with the house and the shed and the barn and the silos. So you'd buy this piece of land and you'd build this. So there'd be a little bench here. You'd come and you'd build whatever it is you need to make your farm successful. Now obviously you don't build the crop, these are just there for demonstration, but what you do get is alongside the plot of land you do build stuff on is several plots of land that you don't build stuff on, but they're kind of reserved for the farm. Maybe there'd be a little picket fence like I have here going around the whole piece of land. Obviously it's to be determined what size the property is where you plant stuff, but it would be a clearly defined plot of land that's not where your homestead is, that's not where you build on, but just kind of empty pieces of land like that. So what you do is then you build kind of your own little area for use. If you want an equipment shed or anything like this, you'd sort of build all that. You'd have a barn, a house, maybe a bed, silos for storage, but we're going to get into that in a second. So the first piece of land is what you actually build, kind of like our oil platform, oil rig. This is where you actually build stuff on. Now you want to plant things on your land that comes with the farm. It kind of unlocks itself when you buy the farm, but you don't build stuff on it. Instead, you do things. So you have a truck that has some kind of spraying things like this. That's for spraying. You got a trailer like this that's going to plant your seeds. Of course, you have a little area there where you put seeds. You'd probably need a tractor of some kind. So, to show you for this demonstration, you'd hop into your truck, throw it into gear, and head over to your plot of land where you're going to start planting. Now, the way that I see it best working out is the game would either track where you plant it, or the different sub-areas of this land would have sort of like nodes, kind of like information nodes, just like the oil well has nodes, just so you could see the status of everything. So now here we are, we're going and planting the seeds. So that's the first step. You could also use a tractor, you could also use an actual seeder. There's many different options for equipment and things that can be done, so that's just one option. But there we go, we've seeded our farm, and of course you'd have a choice of different things. Let's call it, you could plant grain, you could plant corn, canola, like different stuff, and they'll get you a different yield at a different cost. That's kind of the intention of that. So the different stuff would take a different time. Now you hop into this truck, that's our sprayer. So you then go and spray the land that you've done. You could also do it from an airplane, for example. You could also create sort of a creation. If I drive over here, I'll show you the over there we got the little sprayer that I created, so you could either tow that on a trailer or have it automated. A robot could do it. There's all sorts of stuff. Like you could have the land GPSed off and it drives itself like automated from your farmhouse into there. So there we have it. We've now sprayed this, and the idea behind this idea is that you have to repeatedly spray it over a period of several days, for example, until you can look at the node and it says 90% and then 100% ready for harvesting. So for this you need a harvester, a combine harvester, or a truck, or do it by hand if you want to be very slow. So it gives us the option of different approaches to this. So you've harvested it, and let's say you just throw it into the back of your pickup truck. And then the idea behind that is, and for sure there'd be like, you'd build a truck or some type of more like a, it wouldn't look like a pickup truck, it would look like a dump truck, more with like a bed that you fill up using maybe a bobcat or some type of tractor with a front loader, and then you drive it over to your storage silos. So that's the storage time. So you'd have your harvest, your grain or whatever it is. Obviously I didn't make this perfect, but this is just an example. So you'd come over to your silos and offload it into them. You could have a conveyor system with chutes where you drop it off, or you could use some sort of tractor. So your silo now gets full of whatever it is you grew here. So there needs to be just kind of basic animations for this to show the different way that the crop grows, and then you have to kind of be able to collect it. But of course they already have trees, so just maybe you need one texture, something very simple like that, but kind of not, you know, cube-ic. So anyway, now you filled out your silo, and either via gravity system or via tilting system or anything to kind of dump it in. And the last step then is to transport. So for that you need obviously a bigger truck or some type of rail system that gets it on a ship, and then you have a grain terminal or whatever it is you were growing that are scattered around the map. And just like the coal, just like the other stuff in the game, you take it to further locations and get your money and all that stuff. So that would be a very basic gist of how you can kind of make a farm DLC to the game. It adds a whole new element, or it could be an update. You know, I say DLC, but it could be an update. You could use your barn to store equipment, all that stuff. And one other thing that I would propose that you do with your farmer DLC or update is you make the horses that are in the game tameable and rideable. So you could actually have a little horse barn, stables, and kind of like a cowboy, you know, walk around your land with your horse. So that's what I showed here, but obviously that's not something that's relevant or super needed for this type of thing. But equipment like this would be, and that could kind of walk into all sorts of animated or automated, things that you could do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously this is just a basic idea, and like I just said in my disclaimer, I'm not saying this is something they have to do. I'm not saying this is, you know, what's going to complete the game and make it perfect. It's just an idea, because we have now the oil thing, we have coal mining. So I was thinking what other industries would be interesting to sort of work with and create machinery and equipment, and my thought went to farming. So there you have it. I presented my idea. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more. I have more ideas, more DLC type ideas that I'm going to be making videos about, as well as other content and creations on the way. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and like always, happy Stormworksing.